Dr. Darrel Ray is an organizational psychologist. He is also a consultant and author of Sex and God, How Religion Distorts Sexuality. Dr. Darrel Ray is here today to talk to us about thetherapistproject.org. Dr. Ray, let's start from the beginning. What's the goal of this project?
Well, David, a few years ago when I published The God Virus, I was inundated with people saying, how do I find a secular therapist? And I need help, but every time I go find a psychologist or therapist, they end up telling me go back to church or to pray more, or they're spiritual, or they have a crucifix in their office. And, just all these concerns that people have, that the therapist is really more concerned about what religion or what spiritual position this person's in than dealing with the underlying psychological issues. So that's largely why I started the Therapist Project, is I want to help people find secular therapists that are willing and able, trained to deal with real psychological issues, not spiritual issues, not religious issues.
Yeah, I mean, when I was reading about this, it's interesting because, and maybe it's just because I'm spoiled because we happen to live in Massachusetts here, and with so many people in my family who are in mental health, and of course through all of the people that they know, it just, for me, being where I am, it seems almost so rare that religion would be injected, particularly without the patient's request, into therapy. But it sounds like in certain parts of the country, this is a significant and ongoing problem.
It's enormous. It's enormous in the South. It's enormous in the Midwest. But it's also under the radar on both coasts as well, because it doesn't look like religion in some cases. There's a lot of psychologists and therapists out there that practice some fairly questionable therapies, or they're into New Age kinds of therapies, or they talk about your spirituality, and none of that is evidence-based. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for therapists. We want to match therapists with clients, therapists that use evidence-based methods. And there's no religious methods, there's no spiritual methods that can be evidence-based. I mean,
okay, but now to play devil's advocate a little bit, I mean, I understand the idea of evidence-based versus non-evidence-based, but if someone, and specifically what you're trying to target is people where the patient is seeking a particular type of therapist and maybe they're unable to find one. However,
right.
If you have someone who does want evidence-based therapy, but finds themselves to be spiritual, for lack of a better term, is it really negative long-term for the work together if the therapist, not about injecting Jesus or a specific religion per se, but can a spiritual component be helpful in some cases?
I don't know how you'd measure whether it was helpful or not.
I don't know either.
Yeah, it can interfere for sure. I mean, because it's taking away from the root cause. The root cause is a chemical imbalance, or an irrational thinking process, or a relationship issue that you haven't got the skills yet to resolve. None of those have to deal with spirit. There's nothing you can talk about in the spirit world that you can measure. And so why don't we just stay with the real world? And that's where psychology ought to stay.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. And certainly I believe it would be a huge problem if a therapist is imposing. I guess my thought was just that some of the issues that people may have may benefit, again, not from religion, and it would be hard to measure, but I guess I think that there's sometimes where it could be at worst benign, and not hurt the situation, but maybe it's what that person needs as a component to their therapy. And again, I'm not talking about organized religion or Jesus or anything like that.
Well, again, if you can't measure it, I don't know how you can tell if it's doing any good or not.
Yeah.
I mean, as a component of therapy, if you're going to spend 15 minutes of your valuable hour talking about spirituality,
right?
Is that really what you want your psychologist to do? Since if they're proper psychologists, they've been trained in neuropsychology, and they understand how the brain works. And
I understand that. Yeah. Let's, I think it might be useful also to talk about, you said that sometimes the religious component is a little bit below the surface. I think right now my mind goes to that incredible investigation that Truth Wins Out's John Becker did with the Marcus Bachmann anti-gay therapy clinic, and that was just one of the most overt. You pray at the beginning, and religion can get you to stop being gay. But I think a lot of what you're talking about is probably a lot more nuanced, is it not?
Oh, yeah, definitely more subtle. I mean, I can't say that just because a therapist is religious or spiritual themselves that they're a bad therapist. I'm not going to say that.
Of course.
But the very fact that they've got religious icons in their office, or they've got religious literature in their office, might be a clue to somebody that they're not using evidence-based methods, or they also use religious stuff, or religion informs their therapy. Well, here's the big problem that we're facing right now. It's fairly recent phenomena, but just in the last 10 years or so, we're seeing enormous numbers of religious counselors being trained in places like Liberty University. You can get a license in marriage and family counseling out of Liberty University. You go to Regents University and you can get a licensing level master's degree in marriage and family counseling. But you're getting Pat Robertson's theology dumped into your head and Jerry Falwell's mental health approach.
That's a scary thought.
That is very dangerous. And if religion had the key to mental illness, they would have solved it 2,000 years ago. Jesus' solution to mental illness was to find demons in people, cast them into swine, and have them jump over a cliff. And that was literally the state of mental health until about 150 years ago, when we first started looking at scientific psychology and psychotherapy. So religion had 2,000 years to figure this out. The spiritualists has had thousands more years to figure it out. We only started figuring out what causes depression, what causes autism, what causes schizophrenia, what causes post-traumatic stress syndrome. I mean, all those things.
That's a good point, but also I think to be completely fair, a lot of those problems seem to be much more prevalent in today's society because of a lot of the changes to society over the last 150 years as well. I mean, we have to see both sides of that, right?
Well, we had no way of measuring it, so we don't know if it's more prevalent or less prevalent. I mean, they had names for, like in World War I, they call it shell shock when somebody came back from war. Well, now we know it was post-traumatic stress syndrome.
Sure.
There were thousands of people came back from World War I with post-traumatic stress syndrome, but we didn't have a diagnosis for it. They called it melancholy in the 1800s, but now we know it as depression. And there's lots of different varieties of depression. Whether the human brain is working pretty much the same now as it was 100 or 500 years ago or 1,000 years ago. So we're just now able to understand the biochemical stuff that's going on and the neurophysiology of the brain, and now we're understanding it. But I think the problems have always been there.
Well, it's a fascinating topic. The website, again, is thetherapistproject.org. So correct me if I'm wrong. Right now, therapists who want to be listed can log on and request to be included, and then at some point in the future, you will open it up to searches for clients as well.
Exactly, right. We're looking right now, we are looking for any therapist that meets our qualifications as being evidence-based. And if they think they're evidence-based, then register with us. We are very interested in hearing from them. Yes.
All right. We've been speaking with Dr. Darrel Ray. Again, the website, thetherapistproject.org. Great discussion, Dr. Ray. Pleasure to have you on again.
Okay. Thank you.